If you're driving, please remember to use your car's Bluetooth speaker while listening to the AM Drive. Sports talk is not worth your safety or the safety of others.
Grab your popcorn and sit back.
Jump the gun. Oh, no, give me more than that. Okay, go this way. That was dumb. We are.
How could I tell you when nobody wants to? Your favorite words I will choke.
Happy Monday to everyone in the sports universe. It is July 10th, 2023. For Aaron Crouch, I am Michael Carvelis. This is the only show that claims it's going to do 2 days a week and it only does 1 day. Shame on us, Aaron.
We're on a flexible schedule. We're on a flex plan.
That's a good point. I've been playing a lot of fantasy, so this is our flex. That's a good point. I love it. Head to MikeandAaronDrive.com for the best in our merchandise. Nice hoodie, sir. You can also get great phone cases like this one here. And also check out the Fanatics shop as well, among other things like AgriTime with our code AM Drive, Popple, all kind of good stuff there. MikeandAaronDrive.com. Any last word on our stuff?
It's awesome. Buy it, please.
Yes. All right, new NBA in-season tournaments, and I'm telling you what, Aaron, I could not be more mad reacting to this than I was thinking to myself, maybe this would be a fun thing depending on how they did it. And I saw Richard Jefferson's hype video with ESPN and the NBA. Pretty miserable. I don't know. Is all that we're playing for some nice golden trophy that the team's going to be able to carry in their own museum? Like, I don't understand what makes this good. Like, do we really think regular season games are all of a sudden going to matter? Maybe marketing-wise, sure, but are fans really going to tune in to these regular season games that become this in-season tournament magically? I don't think so. I think it's, like some people were saying, a grasp at money. That's all I could think of.
So, yeah, obviously the initial thoughts are a money grab, and it makes sense to think that way. I'm on the fence. I'm in your same camp. I'm like, this is silly. This is stupid. It's, a month and a half into the season. It makes no sense to me. It's like winning a – no, that's not – I was going to say something real – that's going to get me real canceled, but it's basically like winning a regular person winning the gold medal in Special Olympics.
That's a good point.
What if you win this tournament that no one cares about? You can't like celebrate it as a fan. I mean, it's going to be one of those, like, you know how they always talk about, like, the Lakers is the bubble ring, it's the Mickey Mouse ring. Like, what are we making this? You know, at this point, is this the
off-brand Mickey Mouse?
Yeah, it's a silly thought. It screams money grab, which is, I mean, that's just what sports have become nowadays. But for me, I don't understand it. But at the same time, a lot of people had this same belief about the play-in tournament, and now they love it. I don't love it particularly. I haven't wavered in my stance. I think it's still silly, that you have 2/3 of your league making the playoffs. But, the fact of the matter is it'll probably be tuned into. It'll probably be watched. But correct me if I'm wrong here. So the round robin portion of it, the stats are going to count, but the single elimination stats aren't going to count.
If we're going to do that, then we might as well say the play-in. I would be more happy if they combine the stats for historically speaking, with play-in and then the single elimination. Because you're saying both those things don't count. Like, how do you have two things that don't count in the same season?
So my question is, exactly. Now you have play-in games that don't count. You have in-season tournament that don't count. So when we're trying to avoid tanking at the end of the season, why can't we incentivize this in-season tournament at the end of the season for the number one pick and still pay these guys? We talked about how, to avoid tanking, creating a tournament, and you're like, well, if I'm a player on XYZ team, I'm not playing just for, a draft spot. Well, we can incentivize the players that are there. Yeah, you want $250,000 per player, that's fine. I don't care. But this to me just it makes zero sense. It's not Olympics. It's not a, it's nothing. It's not a home field advantage, home court advantage thing. It's literally nothing but a money grab. And I honestly, right now, I feel sorry for any sports fan that is actually intrigued by this.
And for the people that are saying, "Oh, well, you're just not into new things," like this is about as bland of a new thing as you can get. Like you said, it's the regular dude coming in and faking like he's special needs and winning the Olympics. It's what this is. It's something that wants you to believe that, oh, we need this and this is gonna be so awesome. We have a Richard Jefferson hype video, and it's nothing cool about it.
But why do we need it? Who was calling for it?
So I believe
sports if it's a positive effect or it's actually a meaningful effect.
Right.
This just means nothing. Like you said, it's literally more money. And to be honest with you, I can't speak for everyone, but I feel like I do speak for a good contingent of people that like, I don't care that we're paying these guys more money. Like, it doesn't matter. In fact, financially, it has made sports worse. So it just, to me, if a guy gets injured in this tournament and my team is now not a contender because of this stupid ass in-season tournament, I'm gonna be pissed.
So it was supposed to, like, the whole thing on this was it was supposed to help the load management. And again, if the games don't count in the last four teams, they don't count. How does that help load management? That's what, like, at least the play-in had upside. Like, people, okay, well, now more teams get a chance. Sure, this has no upside whatsoever at all, besides they get money.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can understand the benefits of the play-in tournament. I get it. I understand. It's the same thing with adding the 7th playoff team in the NFL. It keeps more teams engaged midway to 2/3 of the way through the season, even almost up to, the end of the season. A lot of people are like, get in the play-in, get in the 7th seed, and get in the playoffs, and anything can happen. I mean, look, the Heat, who knows what would have happened if they lost that second play-in game. I know. I'm not a believer. I would have believed it was a travesty if the Heat were eliminated by being the 8th seed and winning a freaking division. Yeah. But this is what the NBA has done, and for better or for worse, in my opinion, it has sparked interest. The in-play tournament, I just don't see it. I don't understand it. There's nothing tied to it. And like you said, it's just sheerly it's the same reason we don't watch all-star games anymore in any sport.
Even all-star games, the upside is, oh, these guys are on the same court at the same time.
Sure.
There's always an upside. To me, this is like Adam Silver. This is like his biggest, like, shoot himself in the foot he's done so far. There's been a lot of things that people can be concerned about Adam Silver, but he did initiate a play-in tournament. This right here is really bad look for him, in my opinion.
I 100% agree. And the question really is, how long does he let it go, or does he let it happen to really get a good grasp on it? Like, if it's a success or failure, because ultimately I think he'll label it a success because it's basketball and people will probably watch it. People will bet on it. So it will still have eyeballs. So it feels like it would be labeled an artificial success. Now, if it's like, NFL or like MLB All-Star type numbers, I don't know. I don't know what bad ratings are in sports anymore. But if it's seriously if it's done around, God, if it was done around Christmas, I don't think anyone would watch it. But when is it supposed to be done? Like,
it was like November, like something like November. I don't know. It was a weird date. I was like, why? But the dates were like weird because they were,
You're like a month into the season.
Yeah, but the thing is, did you see like how the dates were like constructed? It was like these are already scheduled regular season games, but now they're going to be tournament games. Like, how does it even happen like that?
Oh, I didn't realize.
Like 2 weeks apart, these games all of a sudden matter for a trophy? I don't understand that.
Yeah, and the thing is it's why? What does this trophy do? It does nothing.
I would have been happier if a bunch of guys got $1 million. Because this trophy, like you said, it does. Even if the winning MVP if we can even call it that, gets a ring. That's the one guy on the team. If the Phoenix Suns, let's say hypothetically, win this thing, wow, we got something for our organization. Congratulations.
But you got a dumb trophy to. I wouldn't even feel good about hanging that trophy in the trophy case either. It's like I won some in-season tournament that literally means nothing except for a couple extra bucks in all my guys' pockets.
And see, in the NBA 2K League, I'm not going to video games here. It actually makes sense because it doesn't matter as much to these guys. Like a trophy for a bunch of video gamers is awesome. A trophy for a bunch of NBA players in season is not awesome.
Yeah, and like you said, so these games count towards standings and count towards, like statistics, but not the last few. And it's not at all. It's just, I don't know. To me, I don't see a side to this. And all I see is risk for injury, load management, and just willful ignorance by the players and the coaches. If I'm proven wrong, whoopee, but I don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah, like I said, there's no upside to this. That's my last take on it.
Yeah.
Let's get to this. Wemby so far. Victor Wembanyama, the number 1 pick of the San Antonio Spurs, had a pretty pitiful debut. But to be fair, a few guys had that. They just weren't as talented as he was in selling out Las Vegas arenas. Nice sphere, by the way. I like that basketball. I know you don't, but I think it's pretty cool.
I just think it's silly, but
it is silly. But it's better than the in-season tournament, if that's fair. No, but Wembanyama then all of a sudden went off in his second game for 27 points. And again, when most people believed, like even the fans that were saying, "Oh, this guy's a bust now," like the same fans that were drafting him first in fantasy, all of a sudden they were going to bust after game 1. They all did realize that the guy was very, very good defensively. Like being that long and that quick on your feet, if healthy, if anything, he's Rudy Gobert, which is already pretty, I guess, good, especially money-wise.
Contract.
Yeah, contract is great for him. But then you add the fact that he can shoot over people. You add the fact that Doris Burke mentioned his playmaking. This guy, I need him to be bigger, but he's already showing me more than Porzingis showed me early. And that's a good thing for me. Because I did not feel like his ceiling was, Kareem or whatever. But I did think Porzingis, I wanted to see how comparable he was with Porzingis early on. I think he's already better than he was as a rookie.
So that's a tough spot to really put him in, kind of pencil him in a square peg into a round hole, because, if everything goes well, he stays healthy, he has the skills and abilities to mirror like a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, maybe not get to 38,000 points, but to have a career like that and be such a force on the court. I liken him more to like a Yao Ming, although Yao Ming came in a little bit later in his life. He only played 6 years. Let's hope that's not the comparison as the 6-year career, but it's hard to say. You look at two of these, you take the first game, 9 points. I think he had 8 boards. It was
5 blocks in the first game too.
Did he really? Wow. I didn't see that, but all the hype, tickets for a summer league game are going for like $400 or $500 for a summer league game. For me, I just I see him right kind of in the middle of this. I don't think he's 27 and 12 a night in the NBA. Summer league's obviously different, but I don't see 27 and 12 a night. I see him. You look at 27 plus 9, 36 divided by 2 is 8. He's averaging 18 points a game. I think that's right where he is about to be in the NBA as his game progresses in his rookie year. So, to sit here and how many times do we say this? I know I always, give you crap about it, but the Trey Lance preseason, everyone watches him for 2 games and they're ready to just set his career up. But it's like, no, just let this guy kind of work his way into this type of basketball. Do I think he's as bad as game 1? No. And do I think he's as good as game 2? No. I think his rookie year is going to average out right in between, right around 18 to 20 points, probably on the lower end. He's going to get about 8 blocks, and yeah, he'll have nights where he might have 5, 6, 7 I'm sorry, he'll get 8 to 9 rebounds. He'll have he'll have those games where he's on highlight reels with, Dikembe Mutombo type block games. But I'm seeing 18 and 8 for this guy in rookie year.
Rookie year, I think is going to be really hard for people to buy into, because he's skinny. You can tell he can be pushed around. Like, I believe the first game in Charlotte, like this Kai Jones was like up in his grill. That's what Draymond Green said on his podcast too. Not that I listen to that regularly, but Draymond Green was like, hey, I'm gonna get right in this guy's face and I'm gonna push him around. And if the refs allow it, then he's gonna struggle.
Well, yeah, and he's gonna have to learn to adapt to that. And I think he's also, over the course of the next year or two, he's probably going to have to put on 15 pounds. He's good. He's what, 7'4"? He's like, what, 220 or something like that, if that?
I think he's like 2, yeah, probably.
He's literally a green bean. He's here. I think he'll be all right. Now, like I said, like with all of that hype that has surrounded him, we're expecting – an all-time generational great. And if that happens, cool. I don't see that the way it is. In today's game, if you can get a guy like Victor Wembanyama, who's a center right around the rim, to give you 22 points a game, he's absolutely incredible for this era.
Agreed.
And I think to expect more is purely a product of the artificial hype that surrounds him. This guy is not the type of player in today's game that's going to be – I don't see the Joel Embiid factor. Like, I don't see this guy averaging 33 a game. I just don't.
Possibly. Like, it's so tough to gauge because offensively, it is getting softer of an era, like you said, and he can stretch the floor. But how much do you want him to stretch the floor? Is what the Spurs are going to have to deal with.
Yeah.
Huh?
You don't want your center out on the 3-point line.
In this league, you don't know.
But the thing is like, if I can get a guy, if I'm the Spurs, if I can get a guy who consistently can give me 22 to 25 points a night, why are they not trying to go get Dame and just leveraging everything? Go get Dame Lillard and Victor Wembanyama. Like, that could be.
They got a lot of young pieces that are pretty good that could be tradable too.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. For me, it's just, if I had 2 guys who could get me 50 points a night, I'll let the rest figure itself out.
I will let. Any other players that were impressing you? I really like this Max Christie kid from the Lakers. I know you haven't been watching a dang thing in Summer League, but this Max Christie kid, you may have seen like he looks like Kobe somehow, but he looks pretty good. There's a few players that are like popping off in earlier than I'm seeing in Summer League before.
I just watched. I watched Victor's first game, and I watched a little bit of this last game, but I'll be honest, I haven't seen anything else quite yet. But I mean, it'll be exciting when all these guys are in the league. I know that Brandon Miller's had a tough start to his career so far. It seems like the only thing he may lead the league in is foul outs. So we'll see what happens.
It's rough, yeah. Or shooting. Let me shut up.
Not the good.
Right. On that note, we'll be right back to the AM Drive. Don't go anywhere if you already haven't. We're talking to all things top 5, who's playing next.
All right, and welcome back here to this edition of the AM Drive. We are presented by Fanatics. You see it looks like that. If you're not familiar with Fanatics by now as a sports fan, you've been living under a rock somewhere. So if you need to get geared up for all of your favorite seasons, teams, and players, then make sure you go to mikeandaarondrive.com and click that F. It'll take you into the Fanatics shop. It won't cost you an extra cent. It may cost you an extra second, but we appreciate you taking that little extra time to go to mikeandaarondrive.com and clicking the Fanatics logo, shopping for all your favorite teams, players, and leagues, and helping out this channel. What, Mike?
Tremendously.
If you shop using mikeandaarondrive.com when you go to all of our links. We thank you. We thank you. Hey, I wanted to ask you, I know we're going to talk about baseball in the third segment, but just a quick tangent. Did you see Ellie De La Cruz steal second, third, and home all in 2 pitches the other day?
The highlight got to my phone. I meant to check it out. I did not. Was it pretty impressive?
Absolutely impressive. The way he's just this big, long body and the speed he has. I posted this on Twitter, on my personal Twitter. He has slowly become one of the most electrifying players in the game. And he plays all, he plays all the positions well. Like he can hit, he can run, he's like a 5-tool player. He doesn't look like it, but he is absolutely becoming just a stud in the MLB. And hopefully the MLB can market him properly.
They've done so well.
I know.
Even with Otani, I thought there's still like something missing there.
I really, now that I live out here, there really is an East Coast bias, I've noticed. Real bad in all sports. And it makes sense. I think it's like 70% of the population lives on the East Coast, so I get it. So it makes sense. I'm just saying you can really feel it out here. Like even like you said, guys like Otani out here are huge. I mean, we have billboards of Otani here in Vegas. Like they're huge out here. They just don't. It doesn't make it. Like if he becomes a Yankee tomorrow, you'll feel it.
Don't do that. Well, we're going to talk about that. Don't do that though. All right, MLB top 5 teams. We've also got 2 more surprise top 5s, but don't go anywhere because that's going to be great. Aaron, I know you were so as to be bold last July 3rd. Happy July 3rd that was. And you put the Rays at number 2 or number 3 in your list, and you were pretty on top of that because where are they at now? Let's just figure that out.
All right, that's fair. Yeah, they've had their come back to earth moment a little bit, and they are now officially in win-loss records, not the best team in the major leagues anymore. Yep. My top 5 teams as of what's today, the 10th. I have Atlanta number 1. I have Tampa Bay at number 2. We had a key series between those 2 teams this weekend. I think we really showed that if this were the World Series matchup, as it stands right now, Atlanta is the better team. And, that'd be an interesting World Series if the Red Sox don't make it in, which is going to be tough in the last place. Number 3 still for me is Texas. They've been number 2 or number 3 for what seems like a couple months now. Baltimore is going to move up 1 spot for me to the number 4 slot, which means what happened to Arizona? Well, they slid out. They were really only in my top 5 because they were leading what I believed was a talented but underachieving NL West. Let's call it that. But the Dodgers have gone 7-3 in their last 10 to slide into my number 5 spot. My apologies to Cincinnati. I really want to find a way to put you in my top 5. You're such an entertaining team to watch. And as I've actually gotten more into betting baseball this year than I have in previous years, they have been an absolutely fun team to watch. But I ultimately put LA in my 5 spot because of the positive run differential. Cincinnati is still at a negative run differential despite being 9 games over 500.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like that list. I'm really pissed off that you actually slid the Dodgers in there. But I think my 5 is probably better than your 5, but we'll see how that works out. I do.
And also to the Marlins as well. They're playing pretty damn good baseball.
Yeah, Marlins were close to mine, but eventually they did fall out. Number 1 for me are the Atlanta Braves. Aaron, you were first to that train, and now I'm second to that train, hopefully. No one else has jumped on before me. Number 2 are the Rangers, who have leapfrogged the Rays as well. Oh. Rangers are, again, they're good and they're leading their division. And they really, I guess, by default, because Astros have been kind of not as great, I guess, as they have been in years past. But I feel like the Rangers, when healthy, could be a lot better. Obviously, health is a major concern. But, yeah, number 3 are the Rays. Everything's been said about them. Number 4, the Asterisks, and number 5, the Baltimore Orioles are still number 5. They're still hanging strong. And by the way, Yankees are on a tailspin right now. Red Sox have won 5 straight, and Red Sox make it to 4th place in the AL East finally.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely ludicrous putting the Astros still in your top 5. Their pitching has been just abysmal right now, and I think they're 5-5 their last 10. Yordan Alvarez is slowly coming back. Altuve's out for months. I think that right now they just got 3 out of 4 by Seattle. I mean, they're letting everybody creep back up on them. I can't. I mean, hey, it's your list. I can't agree with the Astros being in the top 5 at this moment. With other teams, with the fact that the Blue Jays have the same record as them and they have a more dynamic offense, with the Marlins the way they're playing, with how Milwaukee has come back to life, I disagree with you with the Astros being in the top 5 right now. Hell, even really being in the top 10. I mean, to me, they were 9th at best. But that is not my list. So
I dig that. It's good to have some controversy on the show for once in our lives, Besides my food selections, but that's okay.
True. Although you won the food draft on Cookout. I can't believe it.
I actually did?
I think so, based on the consensus of the comments.
Yeah, that's what we usually go by. I saw you owe you like 5 Fanatics gift cards. It's fine.
I'll collect someday. That's
right. Top 5 NFL offseason moves. Aaron, you go here, and then I'll go NBA. This was your idea. I thought it was a great idea.
Is it okay if I do the NHL and not the NFL, though?
NHL. It's on the graphic. You get it.
Just want to make sure that people aren't tuning in for the top 5 NHL moves, and they're like, who the hell are the New Jersey Devils? This is So, yeah, these were tough. As I was putting this list together, it's hard. I mean, obviously, you're guessing impact, and also just looking at the caliber of player who is moving or even restaying. Restaying, that's not a word. Even But ultimately, I put these 5 together. Number 5 for me, the Dallas Stars, signing Matt Duchene, who has a career-resurrecting season, 56 points last year. It seemed like he left Colorado, and then his career just nosedived. But he had a little bit of resurgence last year in Nashville. See what he can do on this Stars team that is basically in a desperation win-now mode for their guys, Jamie Benn, Joe Pavelski, and others. So number 4 here for me is one of my favorite players to watch, Tyler Toffoli, going to New Jersey from Calgary. This guy used to be a stud on the Kings, and it seems like ever since he's left the Kings, he's literally just a ping pong ball bouncing back and forth. I think he's been on 6 teams since he's left the Kings, but he's still one of those guys that you love to have in your lineup. So the Devils got a good one with Tyler Toffoli, in my opinion. Number 3, the Barry Trotz era is underway here with Ryan O'Reilly leaving Toronto and signing with the Nashville Predators. What does that tell you about Toronto's just culture in general, that this guy is leaving a perennial playoff team to go sign with a team that has been in the basement for the last 3 years of the Western Conference?
It shows you Toronto's not getting over the hump a lot.
It is absolutely a telling sign that Ryan O'Reilly has no interest in trying to help Toronto win a cup. So Ryan O'Reilly to Nashville, the Barry Trotz era, got a big splash right away there. Number 2, Taylor Hall to Chicago. The Chicago Blackhawks are in complete full rebuild mode. Taylor Hall being a great left-handed stick. And, of course, this is a 2A and 2B. One of the best offseason moves, obviously, is for the Blackhawks drafting Connor Bedard. I mean, this is generational type talent. Will he be in the NHL year 1? He should be, because they're literally a AAA team at this point right now. The freaking Chicago Blackhawks are. So might as well let him take his lumps at the NHL level. And number 1 is the Pierre-Luc Dubois trade for me. I know it's not the flashiest. I know he's had problems ever since he's left Columbus. Winnipeg couldn't wait to get rid of him. But I think the Kings got a stud in Pierre-Luc Dubois if he's motivated, when he's motivated. Let's hope he is in LA. And on the flip side of that, Winnipeg, what Kings had to give up to get Winnipeg, I thought was quite a haul. So good for the Jets in getting Gabe Velarde, Alex Iafallo, and 2 first-round picks. So I guess that's another 1A, 1B type, of move here. So those are my 5 top NHL offseason moves.
Go through your 1 to 5 again, just so we can make sure.
All right, I'll go 1 through 5. It's a 1A, 1B. Kings getting Dubois and Winnipeg getting Velarde, Iafallo, and picks. Number 2, Taylor Hall being traded to Chicago as long as they can get a deal done, and obviously drafting Connor Bedard in the draft. Number 3, Ryan O'Reilly to Nashville. Number 4, the Devils getting Tyler Toffoli. And number 5, the Stars taking Matt Duchene and giving him $3 million to anchor their probably third line this year.
Heck yeah. All righty. I'm going to go 5-1 here. If that's okay. You went 1 to 5, didn't you?
No, I went 5-1. Then recap.
Okay, so there's a few moves that are going to be left off here. Like Fred VanVleet to the Rockets, Dylan Brooks to the Rockets is another one. I want to give credit to the Memphis Grizzlies for surrounding John Morant, the head case for with Marcus Smart and Derrick Rose, 2 guys who should be able to help him out in Memphis. However, I have 5 in an honorable mention. The honorable mention is going to be Spurs drafting Wembanyama. I feel like that was kind of like a rookie. Well, duh, he's a rookie. I feel like that's kind of like an easy out to say, oh, he's a top 5 move. Anybody who's in the top spot was going to draft Wembanyama. So I think that's my honorable mention is Spurs getting a generational talent supposedly, and we'll see how that plays out. Number 5, though, the cream of the crop. Russell Westbrook is back on not just a 2-year deal for the Clippers, on a 2-year, $8 million deal. The Clippers have apparently believed the social media hype that he cannot play at all anymore, and I vehemently disagree with that. I think 2 years, $8 million when Cam Johnson gets God knows whatever he got in Brooklyn, it's like robbery. It should be. I'm surprised it's not higher on my list, but there were so many other things I enjoyed. But Russell Westbrook, 2 years for $4 million each year. It's like, sure, I'll take Russell freaking Westbrook on my team. Give me a break. Number 4, the Celtics acquiring Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis, when healthy, is a very dynamic 2-way player, like he was last year, like he was to start off with the Knicks. I enjoy Porzingis' game a lot. Problem is durability is not there. Can he be pushed around by a bigger center? We'll see. Then again, will Robert Williams, the Time Lord, start at the 5 and Porzingis at the 4? That might be ideal to have 2 shot blockers, one of which can stretch the floor. But number 4 is, of course, so is acquiring him. Number 3, Seth Curry to the Mavericks. Seth Curry actually played with the Mavericks, I believe, 2015 or something like that. And he's a career 43% three-point shooter. I know he only averages 11 points a game, but he's a Curry, and he makes 3-point shots. If there's one thing Dallas struggled with since dumping out their entire roster for the sake of Kyrie Irving, it was they needed shooting. That's what Luka does. He passes to the open guy, and Seth Curry can do just that. Number 2 for me, and I thought was a bigger steal than even Russell Westbrook, although it might not be, but Eric Gordon is an amazing 3-point shooter. Still has a ton left in the tank, I'm sure, and the Phoenix Suns need to fill out what the heck was left of their cap space and roster. Eric Gordon is a dang good piece for them. And number 1, the Wizards, not the Suns part of this deal, the Wizards finally getting rid of having the balls to get rid of Bradley Beal. Took them long enough, but I'm happy that new regime in there said, listen, this ain't going to happen anytime soon. We're not even making the playoffs for crying out loud. Go on, get your money elsewhere. We're fine over here. We paid you for years. I'm glad they got off him finally, and I think what they got back has been nothing short of spectacular, and all in all. So again, Wizards dumping Bradley Beal, Suns signing Eric Gordon, Seth Curry to the Mavericks, Celtics acquiring Porzingis, and Westbrook back on a very, very godly veteran small deal for a guy who's still got a ton left to take, in my opinion. I might have to put Westbrook at number 1.
now you're having second thoughts. It's amazing how all these young guys are coming in the league and creating an impact, and yet your 5 biggest moves are all old players that I recognize.
That's a fair point. I still cannot believe Westbrook. Is he hurt or something? Like, what's going on here? $4 million for 1 year of Russell. That's insane to me. As athletic as he is,
you have to look at it. The situation is were the Clippers smart in getting ahead of it and just saying, hey, we think the market may not be there for you if you want to just take this and come back with us. And there may or may not have been a market. We don't know. I mean, he got locked up pretty quick. So,
and he might play himself into a new deal again. I'm not saying he'll get like a huge deal, but if they got him for $4 million for the next 2 years, like each, he might be able to play himself into like a $10 million contract somewhere. I believe that.
Well, the funny thing is you have to look at this situation. Like, he got $4 million in California after taxes, agent fees, probably publicist. He's almost playing for free.
That's wild. I'm telling you, teams are going to regret not having this guy on their team.
So
that.
Why the sudden love for Westbrook?
I've always appreciated Westbrook's game. I didn't think he was the problem with the Lakers. I don't think he fit with the Lakers, but to say that he was just the god-awful problem is just sickening to me. It was an easy cop-out.
I agree with you. On the Lakers, I thought he got such a bad rap, but I thought with Oklahoma City, they were so hampered by him that, I mean, you don't earn the name Westbrook, by chance. It's not a lucky thing. But I felt like there was a reason why Harden and Durant got out of town as quickly as they did. And I felt like Westbrook was a cancer, even when they were gone. Like, Westbrook, we had to give him the MVP because he averaged a triple-double. But, when Nikola Jokic does it, we can't do it, So it's like, why is averaging a triple-double make this guy such a god? People have done it.
They were like number 6 on the Western Conference, and they had nowhere near it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, he wins an MVP for going 6. I think Jokic was like one assist away from averaging a triple double, and they were like, no, he can't have it. I mean, Mark Jackson left him off his damn ballot, for God's sakes.
Mark Jackson needs to be crucified for that. I hate to in this one. Thanks for Dre on that comment there.
What's up, Dre?
What's up, Dr. Dre? Let me shut up. Okay.
Huh?
If
it was Dr. Dre, that'd be even cooler.
No, you wish. I hate to end this on a bad note before we come back, but you heard about Larry Nassar this morning?
No, why do I know that name?
He's the one who abused the gymnasts.
Oh, the Michigan State, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he got stabbed multiple times.
Oh, man. Wait. Oh, no. I can't get a tear out. Sorry.
Yeah, you and every other Twitter person is really, really excited about that.
I mean, I'm not wishing death on anybody, but if there are people in the world that need to perish, it's those types.
I just want to think it was news, and I have nothing to say about it besides he's no longer in sports. I don't really care. But Adam Schefter felt the need to post it.
Why'd you bring it up?
Because it's a sports thing people are talking about, and even though I think he should not be involved in sports conversations anymore, he still technically is, because Adam Schefter feels the need to tweet about him, and ESPN feels the need to post about him.
All right. Well, is he alive?
Which is actually, yes. In stable condition.
The question I have with that is, like, he was convicted years ago, wasn't he?
2016, he was arrested. I read it. I believe it's like 300 total years when you add it all up, like 300, 400 total years in prison. Like, when does the death sentence just apply? I don't understand that.
I think they just.
It was like multiple sentences of like 125 years. Like, how is it even possible?
Well, in a state, I don't know about Michigan, but in a state that doesn't have a death penalty, you have to make sure you sentence them to enough years that they're going to die.
To death, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but I don't know. Wow. To me, if he was convicted years ago, this doesn't seem related to the whole, this doesn't seem related to, there's not some guy in prison mad about the fact that he sexually assaulted all these gymnasts. Like, this seems like he's just an asshole in prison, too.
Well, it was also an altercation. People think it was just a prison guy. People think it was just a prison gang going up and doing it. And really, the fact that he survived this long without any of this stuff is pretty incredible at this point. But it's also, they transferred him to like some super high tech, like 6 hours away from Tampa federal prison. and he gets in one altercation with one dude and gets stabbed. And great security over there, let me tell you.
I don't think that the security in these prisons is security for the inmates.
Well, I think that he got beat up in his first prison. That's why they transferred him to this place.
Yeah, I think he's going to get beat up wherever he goes. So
that's a fair point. No, I get that. Well, let's just take a break here. When we come back, we're talking even more controversial stuff, but not in a good way. We'll be right back. What is the over-under on how many times you think I've been canceled on the show, if canceling was a thing on our show?
7.
I was thinking like 32, but I said 17. Go ahead.
All right, welcome back here to the last segment of the AM Drive. Happy Monday to all of you in the sports world. It is getting hot out there. The temperatures here in Vegas are touching 120 some days. But if it's already that hot, might as well fire up the grill because it is grilling season. It's barbecue season, chili cook-offs around the country as well. And who better to get you set up for a grilling season than our friends at Agridime? You go to MikeandAaronDrive.com. There's a logo that looks just like this. You go like this, and you click it. When you click it, it takes you into Agridime. Again, it only costs a couple of seconds of your time, but it doesn't cost any additional money to go this route. When you buy everything in the damn store and put it in your cart, before you check out, use code AM Drive, and you will get 10% off of your order. That lets Agridime know that the boys at AM Drive sent you, and it helps out this show.
Well, I mean, tremendously. Sure, whatever.
It helps out the show tremendously, and for that, we thank you.
Amen. Okay. Huh?
We haven't done that in a long time.
That's fair. Tell me why this comes up, sir.
Oh, why it comes up? It comes up because, the Angels have just been a rudderless ship for the better part of a decade, and some of that obviously has included Shohei Ohtani. It's so sad to see that every year we, get this hype train for the Angels, and I'm not trying to call you out. I think you were on the hype train as well this year, and I said, I will believe it when I see it with this team. They can't get out of their own way. It's not for lack of trying. They've acquired guys like Shohei, Anthony Rendon. They drafted Mike Trout. I'm still shocked that Mike Trout I guess he's just one of those guys that just doesn't care. He's like, I'm really good at baseball. I'll make my money. I don't want to be a superstar. I don't want to be a factor in your marketing. Yeah, I mean, he's almost the Nikola Jokic of the MLB. The problem is Jokic can stay on the court, and Mike Trout just cannot seem to.
He also bats below 300 now.
When he plays at this point, he's out for the next month or two. But I think it's time to take a long, hard look in the mirror if you're the LA Angels of Anaheim. And I think unless there's something internally that he has told you, I think you have to start fielding calls on Shohei Ohtani. I know it's crazy to think that potentially the best player of this generation, the best player of all time because of what he can do, the best player since Babe Ruth, call it whatever you want. But it's weird to think that you would actually do this, especially when a potential to have him end up in LA again with the Dodgers just haunting your dreams for the next, God knows, could be another decade. You've got to see what you can get for Shohei Ohtani, because I know it sounds crazy to not just try to sign this guy. And I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're trying to ink him to a new deal. And I know he wants to stay on the West Coast primarily, this, that, and the other. But can you as a GM realistically sit there and say by August 1st, which is the trade deadline, if I don't have any inklings of Shohei interested in an extension, why would I let him walk for $0? And on the flip side, let's not throw Shohei Ohtani under the bus. If you're Shohei Ohtani, why do you want to be on this team?
It's easy.
Yeah, I mean, he does seem like a very laid back kind of guy. He's been in the league for, I believe, 5 years now. And although he does speak some English, he doesn't really seem like the guy that's tried to integrate himself like Ichiro and, other guys along those lines. It doesn't seem like he's tried to, I've seen him in a couple commercials. I get that. It's easy when he says 2 words in English and that's the whole commercial. But it doesn't he wants to be like, I don't think he'd want to be a Yankee or a Met. But it seems to me like for him, making sense of this is, I'm going to go get the same amount of money, stay in LA, and play for the other team. So for me, if I'm the Angels, I might not even as of right now, if I don't have any inkling he wants to stay, I've got to get something for him, even if it's rental prices. Like, I know they can't maybe necessarily get a haul, but God forbid, if you can get 2 ready-to-play players for this guy, I think you got to take the deal, and I think you got to swallow the big pill and trade Shohei Ohtani. I don't know if I'm in the minority or the majority in this sentiment, but, you had a good run with Shohei, a couple of injured seasons, I understand, but, it's time for that butterfly to spread his wings and do it in the other LA market. I know you're not going to trade him to LA, but the problem I have is there's not a ton of teams really in the market for this guy unless they can guarantee an extension. I mean, you look at the top of the standings. Atlanta doesn't need him. I feel like he'd be a huge distraction on top of the fact that I don't think they're going to pay him $600 million. Tampa can't afford him. You have the Yankees who are I think they're 4th in the wild card, so they're technically the first team out. The Red Sox are the second team out. Both of them may go for him for a rental. I don't know. The Dodgers would be the only team that could take him right now. The Padres aren't going to take him. They're too far out. Plus, they've got enough problems of their own unless they can figure out a way to, like, get rid of Juan Soto or Manny Machado. Who takes him? Where's the market?
That's the thing. And what's really sickening is the heavy rain is coming. What's sickening is from a logical standpoint, if you're an Angels fan, you want this to happen. If your heart is in a different place, though, you're like, oh, I want him to stay for what? For tickets? Is that what? Like you really are going to see people's mindsets on what side of the fence they are on in this regard.
Yeah, I think the fan versus the GM is different. If I'm a fan, my mindset is he needs to stay because there's nothing you can trade me that's going to make me say we won this deal. I don't care. I mean, you could win the deal. You could end up being the better suited team in this deal, but there's nothing on day one of that trade that you can tell me we won this deal. We traded the best player of the generation for 2 draft picks and 2 ready-to-play players. Like,
why not trade Mike Trout?
That makes more. I think people would be on board in trading Mike Trout more than they would. I think he has a no movement clause, but I think they'd be more on board. Angels fans would be more on board. That's something to ask your Angels buddy. I forget his name, but he used to be on 12 ounce.
Max.
Yeah. Would they be more apt to trade Mike Trout than Shohei Ohtani? I will give you one. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'll give you one dark horse team that I could see Ohtani being on at the end of this trade deadline.
The Cubs.
No. The Texas Rangers.
Wow. Okay.
They lost DeGrom. They need a pitcher. Well, hi, I'm Shohei. And adding another bat to that lineup is just absolutely what could put them over the top. And even if it was a rental, I know they've got a lot of great pieces locked in place. I don't know what they could give up. I don't know anything about their farm system or what draft picks they have. But if I'm going for a rental, I may ship 3 years worth of draft picks for Shohei Ohtani.
I'll give him like 2 or 3 number ones. I'll give him 2 good players. He doesn't have. We'll take him.
I don't know if I'd give that much for a rental, but if I was just getting a rental, I'd ship him 3 years worth of draft picks.
Fair enough. I like it. I think Mike Trout would be an easier all use the no movement clause. That's so stupid. I think teams should stop doing that. I know it sounds nice on the surface. I know, but it's like they got to stop doing that.
Yeah, I mean, no team or player signs a contract with a no movement clause has the intention to ever move that person. But you're right. Things happen. I mean, now
Crap happens.
Trout can be moved. It just has to be to a team of his liking. Now, can he still get a haul? Absolutely. He's locked in for like another 7 years.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but ultimately, on August 1st, do you think Shohei's an Angel or another team?
I think he's an Angel.
I do too.
Sad.
I look at it, as a GM, and I'm like, I would rather lose my job for trying to re-sign the greatest player of a generation than lose my job for trading him and that trade not working out.
Good point. It's pouring down right here. I don't want to lose connection. Just to let you know.
Yeah, you are getting close. So let's go ahead and you're getting a little grainy. So let's chop it up here and call it a day and say thank you guys so much for all of your input and your support. Make sure between now and Friday you are supporting this show at mikeandaarondrive.com, all our shops, socials, sponsors, and of course the YouTube page. Subscribe and tell a friend to subscribe as well. Like the video also if you are watching on YouTube. Likes obviously help out the channel tremendously as well. So for Michael Carvelis, I'm Aaron Kraut saying enjoy your sports week, and we'll see you hopefully on Friday.
Drive safe.